I'm really intrigued to see what happens in this upcoming series versus Philly, because they now move on. Game 1 in that series is scheduled for 4:08. Mets at Philly to start. Phillies announced Zach Wheeler is starting Game 1. As our resident Philly expert here, what are your thoughts on having to face the Mets in this matchup?
Well, being in the same division, the Phillies have faced the Mets 13 times. Wheeler, surprisingly enough, only made one start against the Mets this season. And in that start, he went 7 innings, struck out 8. He allowed the Mets actually hit him pretty well. He gave up 2 runs in those 7 innings, and I think the Phillies lost that game. But they hit 259, 286, 407 against Wheeler in that game and scored 2 runs. Playoff Wheeler is a completely different animal, and it's going to be in Citizens Bank Park in red October. It's the Mets, despite their coming back ability that they've showed of late, they struggled. As you said, they struggled in that game yesterday, and they struggled throughout that whole series against Milwaukee, and they're coming into Philadelphia to face even better pitching and an even better lineup. So I really don't think the Phillies have much to worry about as long as they have more than a 2 to 3 run lead in the 9th inning. I think the Phillies should be okay in the whole series.
Yeah, and you had the stat, I think, either in our First Pitch Discord or in the group chat that me and Christian have. The only wins that the Mets have off of Philly all year were games in which Taijuan Walker started, and he's obviously not going to be starting games in the postseason. So, like the confidence is warranted. Like, this is not just, we think we got lucky in the regular season, we have to worry about them. It feels like Philly has handled New York pretty handily this year outside of Taijuan Walker starts when he got blown up. And he's probably not even going to be on the playoff roster, I would assume. And if he is, it's at best a bullpen role. Speaking of postseason roster, reporting came out last night that the Mets are considering activating Kodai Senga for the NLDS roster. The decision's going to be he would be a bullpen guy only. He would be shorter outings. He threw a 25-pitch bullpen session earlier this week, something where he made that first start against Atlanta after shoulder issues, had a calf strain in that start, has been on the IL stint, was trying to come back late in the year, and had some tricep soreness. But they're considering activating him because he got through a bullpen session and because they've just ridden the reliever so much down the stretch. And we saw in that Braves game on Monday, Game 1, Edwin Diaz gave up the lead to Ozzie Albies in the 8th, and he's not been amazing here. Matan blew the lead and took the loss on Wednesday. Is activating Kodai Senga, you think, a good thing, a bad thing, or it doesn't necessarily matter because it won't be close enough where that is an issue?
I think it can help them. His ghost splitter is just nasty, and the Phillies haven't faced that at all this season. And I haven't looked to see if they faced him at all last season, but just having that coming out of the bullpen could help. I don't think it's going to help enough to where the Phillies should have to worry about not moving past this series, but it's definitely a help for them. Like you said, they've used their bullpen a lot. Edwin Diaz has not been great. Even last night, he wasn't great. The Brewers just didn't capitalize on it, and he was very wild with nowhere near the strike zone with a lot of his pitches, and it was just something that the Brewers didn't capitalize on last night. Senga would be a good addition to their bullpen for the postseason.
Yeah, looking at the stats from 2023. He made 2 starts against the Phillies, went 1-1 with a 1.46 ERA, 4 runs, 2 earned on 6 hits, 3 walks to 15 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings. Now, obviously, the big question here is, what condition is he in? Is he as good as he was regular season last year? Or if he's a diminished version of that, how diminished is his stuff? Or is it just his stamina at this point? We don't really know, but be interesting to watch. Again, Game 1 of that is 4:08 p.m. Eastern. Zach Wheeler starts for Philly. We do not know who the Met starter is as of yet. The game will be broadcast on Fox.